that I really know. I don't know how to figure it out.
Okay.
I don't know if there are books that I should be looking at or lists somewhere, or whether you're just going to tell us.
Right, I'm just going to tell you. So the purpose of this study is to gain clarity on what we should be eating, whether we are diabetics or not. We will focus on prevention by learning to add up our daily glycemic load and learn to keep it well under the suggested amount. So what the glycemic index is, it is a number from 0 to 100 that is assigned to a food with pure glucose, given the value of 100. So we use the value of 100. Pure glucose has a value of 100, which represents the relative rise in the blood glucose levels 2 hours after consuming that food. So basically I put it as speed. So when we eat something, the speed at which our blood sugar rises is the glycemic index number, the speed. So if I eat an apple and the glycemic index of an apple is 38, 38 is in the low glycemic level. 55 and less is low. Medium is 56 to 65, and high is 70 or above. So if I eat an apple that's in the what? It's 36, so it's 38, so it's what? Low. So watermelon, however, is 72. So where would they put watermelon as a fruit?
That's high.
High. 70 or above is high. So watermelon raises our blood sugar quicker than eating an apple. So if you are diabetic and you may need something to raise it quick because you're diabetic and your sugar dropped, you can eat watermelon quickly to get it up quicker than an apple. But if you've been eating stuff already and your blood sugar a little higher, then you need to not eat the watermelon. Plus, if you are just in prevention mode to not get diabetes, you need to count how much watermelon you eating, whether you just eating watermelon because you like it. You can't sit and eat a whole watermelon. We'll talk about that later when we learn what the glycemic load is in watermelon with the serving size of watermelon. So, anybody got any questions on the glycemic load numbers? I'm going to write them down for you. So, 55 and under, 55 and less is low. Okay? 56 to 69 is medium. And over 70 is high. Y'all got that? So that is glycemic index, GI, speed. So that's what I want y'all to remember. GI, speed, okay? The rate in which the blood sugar rises. So when somebody asks you this tomorrow, what is glycemic index? That's the number that represents the speed at which the blood sugar rises, okay? Speed, something to keep in your head, speed at which the blood sugar rises. So those are that number. Now, foods high in refined carbs and sugar are digested more quickly and often have a high GI. So refined carbs, y'all know, tater chips and all that stuff, and cookies and cakes, they rise your blood sugar high. So they're going to have they're going to have a higher GI. Foods high in protein, fat, or fiber typically has a low GI. Foods with no carbs are not assigned a number. So don't get confused thinking about foods with no carbs like meats and things like that. That'll be another class for us to know we can't eat all the meat we want either. But that's not in the carb, discussion today. So, factors that can affect the GI are ripeness, cooking methods, and type of sugar and amount of processing. The only thing I'm going to mention about this is ripe bananas. If you eat a banana, don't eat it really ripe. If it's too ripe, it rises your blood sugar quicker. And cooking method. And I'm just going to talk about potatoes. A baked potato and a boiled potato has a big difference in glycemic index. The baked potato is high and the boiled potato goes into the medium.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that great to know? Me and Demetria was talking about that the other day. Boiling potatoes, right? And she was like, that's good to know. So, yeah. So that's all I would mention with that. Let's move right along. Yeah. So, the benefits of a low GI diet. This is the benefits, guys. Improved blood sugar regulation. Who don't want that? Improved blood sugar regulation. Increase weight loss. And reduce cholesterol levels. So remember, Robin, we was talking about how this helps everything, feelings that we have. When you change your diet, it don't have to be because you're diagnosed by nothing from the doctor. We need to do it just so that we can feel better. It ain't all about the outside looks, which shine through when we feel better, but it's about how we can feel, have a better quality of life. So those are the three things that a low GI diet does for you. Healthy low GI foods are, and I write them down, healthy low GI foods are most fruits, healthy. Like apples, berries, oranges, lemons, limes, and grapefruit. Non-starch vegetables, because that's another thing we need to know. Everything ain't good. A lot of carrots. You need to know how many carrots you eating. They do stuff for your eyes, but they can mess up your eyes too if you eat too many of them. Whole grains, such as quinoa, my favorite. That's in my cookbook a lot. Quinoa. Couscous. I'm not going to write all them, but quinoa, couscous, barley, buckwheat. And then, of course, the legumes, which includes our beans, right? Lentils and all that. Well, those things right there are to be the basis of your diet when you are trying to do these things. Regulate blood sugar, regulate weight, and cholesterol levels. These should be your basis of your diet. Most fruits, non-starch vegetables, whole grains. Now you could also, and legumes. I'm a vegetarian, so I'm a little biased to meat. I let the meat alone because I lowered my sodium real good to get in the shape that I'm getting in, that I'm in, and I'm getting better with my sodium being lowered. So I don't eat meat, but you can eat meat on a low glycemic index diet because meat doesn't have a number. It doesn't have any carbs. But the problem is a lot of us eat too much meat and we don't get the nutrients. We become malnourished. Most overweight people are malnourished. People think malnourished people are little bitty skinny people. Some of them are. But most of the time, if you're overweight, it's because you're malnourished, meaning you're not getting the nutrients that you need, and your body is just grabbing at this stuff like, can I get something? Can I get something? And then it ain't getting nothing, right? So you steadily eat, your body steadily grab things, but you're not getting any nourishment. So that's why we have to watch meat, and if we need to get our nourishment first, and then you add the meat like a snack. Does that make sense? Get this nourishment and then say, okay, I'll have a chicken wing, one. After you full off the nourishment. So that's my philosophy. That ain't the standard. That's just my philosophy to help us as women get through this thing. So limit these high GI foods. So we went over the low ones. Limit these high GI foods. Bread, which we're going to count it up with bread in a minute. White bread, rice, white rice, but all of them got starch in them, but it says limit these really. Pasta and noodles, and we know that's the white pasta and noodles, and starchy vegetables. So limit those high GI foods. It didn't tell you the sweets because, yes it do, it's got it on here. Baked goods, we already know that. I thought it didn't tell us because we already should know that. Snacks, like popcorn, chips and pretzels, but I will show you guys how much popcorn you can eat depending on what you ate throughout the day, and chips too. And then of course sodas and other sweetened drinks. Okay? Any questions about that? Did y'all all know that? I'm pretty sure you do. Everybody know that already? Stuff we should stay away from? Donuts and all that stuff? Those are things we really have to limit. Okay, do you eat any of these things? I need a question from everybody in the class. Do you eat any of these things? Robin.
I'm not quite sure what you mean.
Do you eat bread, rice, pasta, noodle, starchy vegetables like potatoes, mashed potatoes, cornbread, baked goods like cake, snacks like popcorn, pretzels?
Well, I know that they're not good for us. I don't know how they are on the Glycemic Index, but I suspect they're pretty high.
Yeah, I eat them too.
And unfortunately, there's a bunch of stuff on that list that I really like.
We all do. Okay, Demetria, do you eat any of these things? Aisha, do you eat any of these things?
I do.
Okay, Lorene, do you eat any of these things?
Of course.
I know Demetria do because I talked to her earlier about eating a donut yesterday, so I already know she do. She ain't on here, but we know already. Okay, do you have diabetes? Robin, you said that they think you do, but you don't know for sure, and the 6.1 is still pre. Aisha says no. Demetria, do you have diabetes? She thinks she may do too. I think I may do too. Lorene, do you have diabetes?
I'm pre-diabetic.
Pre-diabetic. Well, okay, so, and almost all of us black women, we are, okay? So that was something we talked about earlier, and it's because of, you know, some things. And then even Caucasian women, as we get older, as they get older too, they are too, you know, just because of the lifestyle, how we eat. So, if you don't have diabetes, do you want it? And I know Isha says no, so I don't want it. Do you have high cholesterol, anybody?
I used to have high cholesterol, but then I started doing flaxseed oil, and my numbers went down.
Okay, good thing.
Sorry about earlier.
That's all right. Good deal. Good deal to know, too. Demetria said she had high cholesterol. She used flaxseed oil. Numbers went down. Flaxseed oil is a good thing. Okay. Thank you, Demetria. You can put it in the chat, flaxseed oil, for everybody to know, to get. Anybody overweight? Weight problems?
Oh, yeah,
You think you got weight problems, Robin?
I do.
Okay.